Okay. Morning, everyone. Farmers, as promised, today we're gonna be looking at soil basics of soil fertility and plant nutrition. So, what I did, I prepared a few slides on soil fertility. Okay, soil preparation, soil fertility, and then plant nutrition. So this video will be available. I'll post it after my presentation for abanye abalimi to view later, or even ukusharisha nalabo mhlambe abangekho available manje. So njengomqeqeshi ke osemkantshubomvu kule ndima yaka farmer development, I've prepared here a lesson plan that will cover some basics around the soil fertility. So sizobuka nje la kwi laptop because it's not a Zoom meeting or Microsoft Teams meeting. So sizobuka nje la ku laptop. So I lesson plan le engiyenzile that will cover some topics. So I lesson plan ke yethu ithinta ikakhulukazi preparation, soil sampling, ama results, ukinterpreta kwawo, fertility and nutrition, plant nutrition, deficiencies, and how do you diagnose ama deficiencies and even ama remedies. So balimi ke okubalekile la outcome ale lesson is to understand the importance of soil fertility and plant nutrition, nokuthatha kwama soil samples, and also understand the reason why we take soil samples and identify ama nutrient deficiencies in your plants and apply necessary remedies to control. So namhla ke 1 May i-venue ke ila ka Facebook, then duration we looking at 30 minutes or more, number of students or Facebook viewers. So this is how you prepare a lesson plan, just to guide things that you'll be covering in your presentation, so that tunganhlanhlanti. So look introduction here to functions of the soil. We're looking at the soil texture and fertility, drainage and aeration, selecting soil type based on the crop. Then the board will cover ogunye nogunye esobe sikbuka balimi. Then you get liming of soil and stuff. So asingene kwi presentation yethu balimi namhlanje la esibuka khona manage soil fertility and plant nutrition. Umbuzo nje wokuqala ukuthi why do we need soil? Usudingelana umhlabathi. Well, umhlabathi act as a plant holder. You know, umasitshala, tilt, hold up isitshalo, and a reservoir for water. So ukuze itshalo zethu ithola amanzi kumele kube nomhlabathi. And it also acts as a main source of nutrients. So masifake fertilizer, siyifake emoyeni, siyifake emhlabathini. And also physical and chemical characteristics would greatly influence in nature and the rate of plant growth. So if sithi kabishi ilithatha 3 months, you can be harvesting ikabishi mhlawumbe ngo 2.5 months because of umhlabathi wakho rich. Uma sithi ikabishi ithatha u4 months, lingawuthatha futhi 6 months ikabishi yakho lingakalikhandi ikhanda liyitennis ikhanda lakhona, because of amanye ama factors akhona lapho okumele uwanake kakhulukazi kwi fertility. Then umhlabathi sudingela futhi to help iseed ukuthi demonstrate its trait. Let me say you've bought a hybrid seed of ebizayo, but if umhlabathi wakho ungekho right, it won't support that seed to demonstrate ama characteristics ewa containile yabo. So we need good quality seed and well balanced soil for us ukuthi sikwazi ukubona imali yethu si investe kuphi. And for soil profile, you need umhlabathi ukuthi udike soil profile. Maybe nokwenza ama decisions are informed more especially when we look at ukuliza mhlawumbe umhlaba or ufuna ukuthenga iplaza fana umhlaba ungawubungi ukuthi uqondile kuphela but udig isoil profile ubuka idepth ukuthi ishona kangakanani because you may buy umhlaba or ulize kanti awushoni kakhulu yabo kune shallow soil depth and then bese thothi mhlawumbe itshalo zakho ayisakwazi ukukhula you see yeah so uma ufuna ukulisa umhlaba ungavela ubuntu eyiwazi wamuhle but dig a soil profile. Then we're looking at soil types and texture. So we have three soil types: esijwayele, sandy soil, loamy soil, and clay soil. And ngiyazi abantu bathi hayi sandy ayikho right or loamy right, clay ayikho right, but konke lokho kudinga ama management practices. Actually awukho umhlaba ongeke ukwazi ukutshala kuwo, but it needs ama management practices ozowa apply emhlabathini wakho and make sure ukuthi izitshalo zakho ziyakhula kahle. Even with sandy soil you can produce some crops. Now with clay soil you can produce some crops, but you can amend i-texture yomhlabathi wakho trying to improve i-water holding capacity nokunye sobe sikubheka. Well bese ngingasho ukuthi okay sine clay soil, we know ukuthi clay soil into evamisa ukuba khona kuyaye kube i-water logging thothi amanzi ayama our infiltrate kahle and that limits ina oxygen supply. Bakwethu ama plants they need oxygen ukuze akhule. That's why when you see with clay soil kune water logging and your plants awakhuli because oxygen ayikho available kuma roots and eventually your plants will wilt or die and uzocabanga ukuthi mhlawumbe into zakhe ayihambi kahle kanti because of umhlabathi kahle kahle ayikho lento ukuthi abantu banento zabo kwi farming is to understand each and every factor osukuproducela kuyona. Then into futhi enzima ngeclay is that root development iba difficult awakwazi ukukhula kakhulu ama plants wakho. So what is the management practice okumele uyenze with clay soil is to apply organic matter. Umquba guys helps to disperse ama small soil particles in clay soil. And that would foster microbial activity where ubona imnyundu namanye ama bacteria ongeke sometimes uwabone are beneficial, but if umhlabathi wakho too sticky lokho kuzolimita growth emhlabathini wakho. You can also apply calcium with clay soil to disperse ama soil particles. Calcium, it's your agricultural lime, it can be your calcitic lime or dolomitic lime. Now going to sandy soil, where sandy soil abantu abaningi abayithandi ngisho kanjalo, but some of root crops they perform relatively well with sandy soil because ayikho limitation ye bulking like amazambane nabo beetroot. So how do you amend your sandy soil, because there are some challenges with sandy soil including leaching of ama nutrients where ama nutrients wakho elahleka. You know, we'll also touch on cation exchange capacity. Just, I don't want to be more scientific, but these are the basic things Maui farmer or we understand it, because when we are in farming, each and every activity it should be informed by, you know, a reason, a scientific reason behind it. Why are you applying this? Why are you doing this? Not ngenzwa bethi. So those are the things sesoyikhava nje kancane. So isandy soil ayikwazi nokubamba amanzi lento esibiza nge-water holding capacity, and you may find ukuthi you irrigate frequent each and every day you are irrigating with sandy soil. So to amend your sandy soil, apply organic matter. Again, umquba can help just to bind. Now we are not dispersing ama soil particles, but we want to bind them together. So umquba can help. And also apply magnesium to tighten up your soil particles. Like magnesium, it can be your dolomitic lime, though it contains calcium, the magnesium, dolomitic lime. Well, going to soil aggregates, well, like mhlawumbe mawubona kunamagabada amancane emhlabathini wakho, it shows impilo ngoba ama earthworms, they are there eating and trying to create ama soil aggregates. So do not kill ama earthworms. I know ukuthi amanye ama farmers ama earthworms adla ama crops wabo, and I believe ukuthi mhlawumbe asuke semaningi kakhulu kuleso sigaba, and well vele egcineni uzogcina mhlawumbe eseba ngama enemies wakho. So why do we need to prepare umhlabathi? Siqale mhlawumbe lapho singene with preparation. Why do we need to prepare umhlabathi? We prepare umhlabathi to achieve root development and growth yama plants wethu. And we also look at the type of crop esiyitshalayo. Mhlawumbe makuyikabishi, you know ukuthi ikabishi has got shallow root. Mangamazambane has got you know bulking okumele yenzeke kwi-root. Then you need to prepare umhlabathi wakho. And another thing is to improve the soil aeration. We don't say umhlabati is breathing. We don't have soil breathing. It's called soil aeration. So these are the things like a terminology, yaga farming, that you also need to understand. Roots would need that oxygen to perform some of the processes. Plant izokwazi ukukhula. And to improve the microbial activity, as I've said, there are a lot of essential bacteria emhlabathini adingekalayo to help your plants to grow. And also to disrupt weeds. That's why we prepare. So that's why fagugandaganda, we disrupt weeds, we kill weeds, yes, because weeds they outcompete or they compete with crops way too, and most of weeds outcompete crops way to tawasakulgal. And we also prepare soil for infiltration of water and nutrient availability. So umalini zulu, we need to make sure ukuthi amanzi ayangena phansi and nutrients they become available. Then there are systems that we use to prepare our soil. So I will just touch and go here. Primary soil preparation and secondary soil preparation. So into kumele uyibuke umhlabathi wakho topography ume kanjani. You also need to look umhlabathi wakho ngokuthi is it a virgin land or umhlabathi vele okujwayele ukulinywa, and that will also determine the type of implement that you need to use. Yes, nesikhathi kumele mhlambe ulungise ngayo, even ukubuka ne-compaction, because umhlabathi is compacted and that would limit an optimal growth. So izo zonke izinto lezo that you need to look at umese uyachoose. So primary soil preparation, that's where you use your heavy implements like your moldboard plow, your reaper. You're trying to I had some pictures la under soil preparation, but omunye mhlawumbe uzobuza ukuthi can I make this available through my emails? Yes, but copyright ibalekile. So in reaper, uyabo umhlabathi wakho mawi hard pan or virgin land, you are trying to reap your soil. Kunamanye futhi like your moldboard plow. Here you can see your moldboard plow, and then we've got secondary tillage implements, your rotavator and cultivators, harrows, maning. So you choose. That's why umhlabathi wakho awalima ngaphambilini. It's not necessary ukuthi ngawusonke isikhathi uhlezi ufaka ugandaganda uyophendula. You just need maybe disc harrow ukuthi libulala ama-plant researchers so that uzokwazi ukutshala, because if you frequently disrupt your soil or prepare, you also disturb microbial activity there. So that's why we've got advocates no-till, let's use no-till, let's follow in farming in God's way, bonke lawo bantu labo ukuthi umhlabathi wakho ungawuphazamisi. And then we come to, okay, we were looking at a physical property of the soil. Then we come to a chemical property of the soil, of which most of abalimi baye advise ukuthi begxile kuyona noma beyenze. So ama-soil samples, kahle kahle into okuthiwa asiwathathe. Why do we need to take ama-soil samples? To understand the chemical property of the soil, because awukwazi ukuyibona ngamehlo i-chemical property of the soil. But your plants would be able to demonstrate or to show you ukuthi kahle kahle silambile noma si-happy ngalokhu nalokhu, ezinye zezinto esizoyikhava lezo kwilesini yethu. So as a farmer kumele ukwazi ukuthi kune-physical property, izinto okwazi ukuyibona emhlabathini, and then we've got chemical properties of the soil. Lokho ongakwazi ukukubona kahle kahle engingakubiza ukuthi kushuthi afana ube umuntu okwazi noma ukushaya umhlahlo kahle kahle ukubona ukuthi iplant yakho ifunani, unje like ube isangoma impela. So okubaluleke kakhulu la, take soil samples. But abantu abaningi bayawathatha ama-soil samples, they send them to a lab, and then mayebuya abawa-analyze and abawa-interpret, and they don't create ama-budgets wabo to support ama-soil samples wabo, ama-soil results actually. So why do we need to take ama-soil sample? Ukuze sikwazi uku-analyze the amount of nutrients that we have in our soil, like your NPK, of which is our cover we body ye presentation namhlanje, and how do you take those and how do you take those soil samples? You need to follow a zigzag method where you move in your field zigzag. Unfortunately, we cannot demonstrate practicals aloko. So it's all pH it's an extent to which the moisture in the soil is acidic or alkaline. Okay, we've heard that. Ukuthi soil sample asuke funa ukusinikeza pH ukuthi ngabe acidic noma alkaline. I know abanye they will think ukuthi it tastes like acidic ma taste umhlabathi, but that's not the case. So what influences is umhlabathi wethu ukuthi ube acidic? Yabo. Into influence umhlabathi wethu ukuthi ube acidic, you may look ukuthi uma izulu lina, yabo, if we have a lot of rainfalls and umhlabathi ulahlekelwa ngama nutrients, lokho esikubiza nge-leaching. So your soil will leach ama nutrients. What are those key nutrients that your soil will lose? Number one, it's calcium, potassium, magnesium, and then it will increase our hydrogen ions. So if we say your soil is acidic, it's because of you have a lot of hydrogen ions emhlabathini wakho. You know, water molecule ukuthi yenziwe yini, oxygen and hydrogen. So ngalesikhathi endaweni, that's why endaweni ezimanzi noma ezithola more rainfalls umhlabathi wabo uacidic, umhlabathi wakulezo ndawo lezo. So if your soil pH it comes back it acidic, wena njenge farmer or as a scientist know ukuthi you have a shortage of calcium, potassium and magnesium, that's why you apply lime. And then fanele uyibuza ukuthi yini le nutrient econtainwe yi-lime, yabo, ngoba ngeke besho bethi hambo apply nitrogen, bazothi hambo apply lime. So i-lime contains two nutrient elements, so calcium and magnesium. So if you're saying you are applying lime in your soil, you are basically applying calcium and magnesium. Uyayibuyisela le calcium and magnesium because ilahlekile through leaching, through ngalesikhathi to harvester, because when you harvest ama crops, they also take away some of the nutrients emhlabathini wakho. So soil pH yakho less than 4, we regard it as acidic, and that's where you find that there is an excess of iron, manganese, and aluminium, of which they become toxic kuma plants wakho. And then that's where ikabishi lakho zomangange tenisi for 3 months alkhuli. That's where utamatisi wakho uzoba nama blossom end rot, of which so cover naloko. Because the reason ukuthi asenze nama soil sample is to understand the amount yama nutrients and be able to correct them before kufika 4 months usuyakhala bangithakatha, my plants are not growing. But izinto bekufanele ngabe uyibukile lezo ekuqaleni so that uzokwazi ukwenza ama informed decision. And then we also have got ama alkaline soils, mostly endaweni ezidry, endaweni ezomile ezugwadule. Ama plants wethu lapho ikakhulukazi experience alkalinity. So that's why even nama crops, I will also touch ama crops akhula based ngokwama soil pH wakhona, like ubhatata abantu uthela ukuthi ubhatata awuyifuni imvula eningi. Yonke lento is because of is soil pH esuka ihambisana naleyo crop. Each and every crop has got its own soil pH okumele ikhule ngaphansi kwayo. So when as a farmer, if we are planting potatoes, know ukuthi ama potatoes afuna lokhu enini okumele uyenze. As a farmer, if we are planting ikabishi kanjalo, ikabishi ifuna umhlabathi alkaline noma acidic. Izinto lezo okumele we understand and apply right things eqaleni. So i-organic matter khona obuza ngomquba la ukuthi nga-apply nomquba. Okay, i-organic matter umquba hlahle is very important, guys, and we know ukuthi abantu they will always mhlambe bethu umquba hayi umquba uyabheda, but as I said yesterday ukuthi kunepolitiki nakhona around umquba, because umquba was there kudala abantu bewusebenzisa emasimini wabo and zonke lezo zinto lezo. So umquba indlela osiza ngayo, it amends i-soil texture. So umhlabathi wakho njengoba ngishilo mawusendi, it will amend it. Umhlabathi wakho clay, it will disperse ama soil particles. And enye into ebalekile, it also improve i-microbial activity, because ama earthworms afuna ukudla. So uyazi ukuthi umquba hlahle kusuke kusewutshana obubolile, usudliwe inkomo njalo njalo. So lokho it provide foods earthworms and other essential bacteria emhlabathini, because there are bad bacteria and good bacteria, of which like pathogens will cause disease. So there's a war emhlabathini by bacteria fighting for space. So as a farmer, if you're applying umquba, know the reason behind. So if your soil is acidic, now I'm touching on cost. So if your soil is acidic, awunayo imali yokuthenga lime, you can apply umquba. Umquba, what it will do, it will bind hydrogen ions. So as it binds hydrogen ions, it makes your soil to be alkaline. Because once your soil has got a lot of hydrogen ions, umhlabathi wakho, that's why we say acidic. So mawufaka umquba, it improves that soil pH, and even plants indlela umhlabathi wakho ozobamba ngawo amanzi, water holding capacity. Because if you have got a good water holding capacity, you are saving cost irrigation, because you won't irrigate frequently njengoba umhlabathi wakho uyakwazi ukubamba amanzi. So konke lokhu it contributes with fertility, and even not amanzi kuphela, ukubamba nanalento siyibiza ngani ngama nutrients. We call it cation exchange capacity, where your soil particles are able to hold nutrients so that angalichi kalula. So organic matter will help a lot lapho. So these are just some bacteria akhona emhlabathini ahlukahlukene. We've got decomposers, rhizobium. I know ukuthi abantu they would say ubhontshisi awuyifuni nitrogen, asikho isidingo soku-apply nitrogen. Yes, that's true, because those are rhizobium bacteria. So ahlala kuma roots kabhontshisi, and they help ama legumes actually to fix an atmospheric nitrogen. So I convert her into a soluble form. So that's why abantu, even abadala, but they would say, bhontshisi awufuna umanyolo, baqinisile. And I like it when it comes from ama elders, because there's science behind it. So these rhizobium, they sit on the roots yama legumes and get simple sugars from the roots. So to return a favor, these rhizobium, they fix an atmospheric nitrogen, so that ubhontshisi uzo, so kunobudlelwane obukhona phakathi lapha. And then we also have pathogenic bacteria. So if you see your plants or your spinach having a black spot and all those spots kuma roots, it's because these bacteria are there outcompeting rhizobium namanye mutualistic bacteria. And that's why we will have a disease. A disease is a result of a pathogen ekhona. Kahle kahle, it's a symptom esibona ngayo ukuthi there is a pathogen emhlabathini wakho. And you can also be able to disrupt pathogens by following: number one, make sure that your soil aeration is good, because pathogens awawuthanda umhlabathi ominyene, awawuthanda umhlabathi oshaya umoya. They strive mostly into sibiza ngoma anaerobic respiration or anaerobic processes. Awayifuni oxygen. So that's why umakadelina kunamanzi uzobeza abantu abadala bethi hey ubhontshisi noma umbila uzocuca. There's science behind it, because awusakwazi ukuthola umoya and sekuba ne permanent wilting kuma plants wethu. So, and there are chemicals that you can use to fight pathogens emhlabathini. As I said, with aerobic and anaerobic bacteria are there in your soil, and kubalulekile ukwazi lokho, because ungaba ne-early blight unyaka nonyaka, and you are buying expensive chemicals, because the gist of the presentation yanamhlanje lapho ukuthi you may buy chemicals are expensive, like your chlorothalonil, your oxystrobin. I'm touching chemical, active ingredient, not just brand names. But inkinga yakho isemhlabathini. I hope siyezwana balimi. Wena kahle kahle ungathini i-painkiller le oyithengayo if you buy fungicides ukuspraya i-crop yakho. Kahle kahle i-crop mayikhombisa isifo iyakutshena ukuthi ngine attacker pathogen. And when you spray with your fungicide, kahle kahle it's a painkiller kwi-crop, and then iphinde ikukhombise the next time, after 7 days. That's why spraying program would say spray each and every 7 days. But thothi inkinga yakho isemhlabathini. So once you heal your soil, iplant futhi izokutshena ukuthi kahle kahle sengimnandi. So that's why namhlanje we're touching on soil fertility and plant nutrition. So spending a lot of money buying fungicides, buying chemicals, inkinga yakho isemhlabathini. Same thing nakuma-weeds. Ama-weeds asuke elandela umhlabathi isimo suyiso. So there are certain weeds that will grow under certain soil pH. Yabo. When your soil is acidic, there are type of weeds that will grow acidic soils. When your soil is alkaline, there are type of weeds that will grow under alkaline soils. You see, ayiqonda leyo balimi. So if uhlushwa ngama-weeds, uthenga iglyphosate or i-Roundup, expensive herbicide, we are trying to spray these herbicides, and they always come back and they become resistant. It's because of inkinga isemhlabathini. You need to correct your soil pH. Yabo. So when you spray a glyphosate on your soil, you are not correcting a soil pH. You are gone, but you are actually bringing a short-term remedy yokuthi ubulala olukhula. And unfortunately into ezokwenzeka kuzoba ne-resistance yama-weeds. So uyaspray ayakubuka nje, ayaqhubeka ayakhula. So you need to correct your soil pH. Okay, this is soil exchange capacity ebengikhuluma ngayo, where your soil is able to hold some nutrient elements. This is scientific balimi, but nje okubalekile lana ukuthi clay soil has got good CEC or yes, cation exchange capacity, and sandy soil has got poor cation exchange capacity, and that's why you have a lot of cost or incur with sandy soil. You buy fertilizer, it leaches easily. You irrigate umhlabathi wakho, it dries quickly. So you need to amend your soil texture. So as I said, with my implications of cation exchange capacity. Okay, now these are crops and their soil pH tolerance. We're looking at acidic soil crops. You know, crops that can thrive under acidic soil. You're looking at blueberries, cranberries, and most of crops lana shrubs. You know, you're also looking at parsley, kinati, potatoes. And I'm sure abanye batshala potatoes. So potatoes, why we say adinga acidic soil again, because once your soil is alkaline and you plant potatoes, ngikhulume ngama-weeds ukuthi they also associate themselves with certain soil pH. Nama-pathogens, it's the same thing. So when your soil pH is not correct, pathogens will come and strive under that soil pH. Yabo. In distance amazambane, if you plant them with alkaline soil, azodevelopa scaby. Scaby, it's a disease enzakala emazambaneni, like ubona ngathi kunotwayi, amazambane akho anotwayi. So because of umhlabathi wakho alkaline. So that's why there's no need kangako emazambaneni to apply lime, because you are trying to neutralize umhlabathi wakho, but amazambane they prefer acidic or slightly acidic soils. And we also have sweet potatoes, perennial shrubs, and langma perennial shrub. That's why when you're looking at places where mining was taking place, into zojwayela ukuyifica lapha uzofica ama-shrubs la okwakwenzeka khona ama-open cast mining and stuff. Uzofica kunama-shrubs lapho, because ama-shrubs they like umhlabathi o-neglected, you know. That's why even mawuthenga iplazi kumele ubuke ama-weeds akhula kuleyo ndawo. Maybe you are buying iplazi elikade lasetshenziswa noma liyabheda, yabo, like izinto mawuzobuka ameva ezinye zeyitshalo zikhula vele emhlabathini osuke ungekho kahle when it comes to soil pH yakhona. And then when you spend a lot of money buying that plot or leasing that plot, but uyabona ukuthi you still have a long way to amend and improve soil pH yakho. But ukubalekile ke take soil sample so that you understand. So kahle kahle lokhu balimi kwama demonstration, it's just when we become experienced, uyabona ukuthi okay makunalo mfino lo nje, like imfino, there are certain mfino ezokhula emhlabathini, and kuzokutshela ukuthi umhlabathi wami ufertile, uyabo. Like mawuzobuka ezansi kwesibaya, that's where sithola khona umfino like amarati, uqadolo njalo njalo, because lo mhlaba lo fertile. And kuneminye imfino ezokhula endaweni alkaline kanjalo kanjalo. So Now many crops la when you looking at cucumbers, soil pH yakhona, and ama crops akula under alkaline soil. We've got broccoli, we've got cabbage, we've got lettuce, we've got ubhontshisi. That's why ubhontshisi would strive, no beetroot, will strive with alkaline soil because kwawona taste yakhona it's alkaline. So naloko it also count balimi. Even diet yakho mawufuna mhlawumbe ukuthi awudokotela uthenga ngidla izinto mhlawumbe ezi-alkaline kanjalo, this will help ukuthi which food stuff do you need to select, because i-plant nutrition ine relation enzima kakhulu ne-human nutrition, of which we'll look at once ingena kwi-plant nutrition. So when you are liming your soil, okay, that's where you apply your agricultural lime. You are an extension officer, you are a mentor. You tell farmers to go and apply ulime. And what does that mean? You're saying abahambe beyotenga calcium ne magnesium. So when your soil is acidic, ama results ayabuye sidara or ARC, you need to interpret ama soil results balimi. Email ingabuyi nje kuphela, and then you keep those soil results emhlabathini. So into ebalekile, you need to read and interpret ama soil results. So umhlabathi wakho more acidic, you need to apply your calcitic lime or dolomitic lime. So calcitic lime, it contains only calcium, and dolomitic lime, it contains both the calcium and magnesium. Ngichazileke ke balimi ukuthi why kuzoba ilawo ma crops O2 abazokutshena ukuthi njalo sorry khona umuntu ongifonayo la ongidisturbayo, ukuthi kuzoba khona ama nutrient elements awu2 abazothi apply okuyi calcium ne magnesium. Is because iwona alicha kakhulu emhlabathini, iwona alicha kakhulu emhlabathini lama nutrients. And then when your soil is alkaline, because umhlabathi awuzubuya njalo uthi acidic, uzobuya umhlabathi sometimes uthi alkaline, then you don't apply calcitic lime ne magnesium. You need to apply sulfur or gypsum. So those are the things ozoyithola kuma agricultural shops where your soil is alkaline. You are trying to neutralize the soil pH yakho, then you need to apply calcium, sulfur and magnesium. Sorry barim, kunomuntu oloke fona. So kuma wetlands ke balimi, kuma wetlands as I've said ukuthi umhlabathi oyawuthole khona uacidic. So if umhlabathi wakho uhlezi umanzi like endaweni ezinomsokama, lapho imhlabathi yakhona eba more acidic, and then kumele ujwayelane no lime, calcitic lime no dolomitic lime, kumele ngasonke isikhathi ujwayelane nawo, trying to improve pH yakho. And another thing, kumele ujwayelane nomquba, trying to disperse ama soil particles so that if infiltration of water will also improve. And as nibona la ukuthi once you lake ama nutrients like calcium no magnesium, potassium, it also becomes unavailable kuma plants wakho. So lento esibiza nge-unavailability yama crops ithi you may apply amanye fertilizer emhlabathini wakho o acidic, but they don't become available to plants. They are available in the soil but not available to plants. So when you need to correct soil pH yakho so that you make those nutrients to become available to my plants. And remember, even in microbial activity, ayikwazi ukwenzeka kahle when your plants are experiencing, when your soil is under acidic or alkaline. So you need to always balance your soil pH to make sure that weeds do not grow because the soil pH is not conducive for them. 2, pathogens cannot thrive because the soil pH is not conducive for them. And then even microbial activity yenzeka kahle kuleso sigaba. You understand? So now we're looking at the soil fertility. There are these nutrients, even now we periodic table, primary nutrients and secondary nutrients. We've got NPK, of it is a primary nutrient. That's why most of our farmers mabetenga a bag, gamanyolo, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. And then we've got secondary nutrients, of which is calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. So those 6 are very, very important. That's why uma uenza liming, you apply calcium and magnesium, and even the sulfur when your soil is alkaline. And then we've got micronutrients. We need them in small quantities. Once they become excessive in the soil, alimaza plants ngoba toxic, That's why when your soil, we say it's acidic, it has got a lot of iron, manganese, and aluminium, and less of calcium and magnesium. So when you're applying lime, you are trying to increase the calcium, the magnesium, and suppress the iron, the manganese, the aluminium. So this will help you, balimi, for diagnosis purposes, because that's where we are moving towards now. Ukuthi fana isitshalo sakho ukwazi ukusibona ukuthi silambe nge-nitrogen, noma silambe nge-phosphorus, noma silambe nge-calcium, noma silambe nge-magnesium, noma silambe nge-potassium. Wena njengomlimi, that's a chemical property yesoil okumele isitshalo sakho sikwazi ukukutshena. Before you say ayitshalo zami azenzi kahle, but you need to understand immobility. There's something we call immobility. So immobility yama nutrients emhlabathini ihlukene based on ama nutrient elements. I know that I'm getting too scientific now, but it will help as you be identifying and diagnosing nutrient deficiencies kuma plants wako. So we've got mobile nutrients kuma plants, transportability within the plants. So 1, it's nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, chlorine, and sulfur. So these nutrients, they are mobile. They are able to be transported from older leaves to younger leaves kuma plant weight. So that's why I said utama deficiency here will only or will mostly appear on older leaves at the base of your plant. So most of our mobile nutrient elements, uma ushodelwa yiwo, uzobona isitshalo sakho ukuthi sikhombise ikhala ethize noma e-purple noma e-yellow kuma older leaves. Why it demonstrate deficiencies on older leaves is because nutrient le immobile, meaning if it's needed on the younger leaves and incane availability yawo kuma plant, it will leave the older leaves and go to the younger leaves. As it leaves the older leaves, then that's why uzobona ama older leaves wakho ebanjani, eba yellow noma eba purple noma eba brown, because kune emergency yokuthi this nutrient element it's needed kwamanye ama branches of a plant. So uma ufike efieldini yakho ufike uyabuka uyabona okay, the older leaves are yellow or purple, then it tells you okay, I've got a deficiency in mobile element. Then now you diagnose, is it nitrogen or potassium or phosphorus or magnesium? So usuyaqala manje uthatha decision ukuthi okay, ama colors athile azovela kanje kanjalo. Because you may apply calcium kuma plants wakho ijene ukuthi ashoda ngawo, but no, calcium it's immobile. Calcium meaning uma sithi immobile will only demonstrate deficiency yawo kuma young shoots or in kuma young leaves. So that's why utamatisi blossom and rot. That's why you find that your flowers are dropping, or there's a flower abortion or fruit abortion kuma crops wako, because calcium, that's where it demonstrates its deficiency yawo kakhulu. That's why even ikabish lako lizoba a tennis ball, because for a cabbage to form a head, it will need calcium and boron, and you can see these things are immobile. And I'll also touch on how do you correct these deficiencies, because ukuthi mhlawumbe apply emhlabathini kokunye it can be a very long process, but okunye if you just do a foliar application, of which I'm a big fan of a foliar application, where you spray your crops nge-fertilizer ethile, then it will take up leyo nutrient leyo ikwazi ukuyihambisa la idinga khona, because into ebalekile kuma plants mayikhombisa deficiency isho ukuthi ngilambile, faka lento engidingayo, then we apply, then bese plant iyakwazi ukurecover. But if you leave your plant ungalokhu ungayi-attend, ngeke kukwazi ukunikeza ama fruits, ngeke kwazi futhi ukukhula like njengekabishi. Ikabishi kumele understand ukuthi within mhlambe inyanga yesibili 3 months obese qala selifomisha ikhanda. But wena mawuzo responda ngaleso sikhathi lezo kuzobe sekulate. So fanele uqale manje uunderstand ukuthi uyabalansisa abo calcium o magnesium njalo njalo, of which ngelinye ilanga sothinta yona i-cabbage production siyibuka ngokwe fertility, ama pest nama disease njalo njalo. Okay, kunamanye ama-immobile elements balimi okuyi iron, manganese, copper, molybdenum no zinc. I-molybdenum ke ibalekile, and I will touch as we move towards the end why molybdenum it's very very important, because kahle gist yale presentation ukuthi when you buying ama fertilizer kumele understand ukuthi imali yakho uyisebenziselani, not because of umeluleki or unhlengethwa told you ukuthi uthenga ama fertilizer, but kunezinto oyifunayo la kwi fertilizer that your plants need. Okay, balimi. Now, okay, ama biotic factors and abiotic factors. So, for diagnostic purposes, balimi, ningizwe kahle. Kubalulekile ukuthi wazi these two factors kwi farming. You've got living factors, you've got non-living factors. Both these factors will bring ama bad effects nama good effects. So I'm touching on ama tools of diagnose enemy or into esuke yenzeka emhlabathini wakho. So when you are going to your field, have these two tools in your mind: biotic factors that I have here in my garden and abiotic factors. So what are the biotic factors? Biotic factors are living organisms, and ama symptoms are caused by ama living organisms. So into ayenzayo ama biotic factors, they lack a pattern when they attack ama plant. Like for example, ama pests are biotic factors, and pathogens are biotic factors. Human beings are biotic factors. Goats, cattle and stuff, those are biotic factors. They are living organisms. So when they attack your plant, they won't attack your plant in a pattern way. So when you are standing in your field and ubuka mhlawumbe ulayini owodwa, mhlawumbe uyabona ukuthi lidliwe leli kabishi, leliyana lidliwe, or li brown leliya, or leliyana liko brown, yabo kanjalo kulekha le pattern. No ukuthi you've got a biotic enemy or a living enemy that is attacking your crop. But now coming to abiotic factors, these are non-living factors. You know, even ama symptoms while they would demonstrate a pattern. And those things are amanzi, it's an abiotic factor. Ama nutrients deficient, it's an abiotic factor. Weather, temperature, soil pH, and so forth. So lezi zinto lezi zizoba ne pattern. So when you are standing in your field and uyabona ukuthi umhlaba izitshalo zakho ziyellow zonke, you can't say lapho it's a disease, unless if a disease is hit a economic threshold noma isi above indlela yokuthi mhlawumbe ungayigwema uyiyekile yazi yaba severe. But nje uma izitshalo zakho zibuna thothi zonke unenkinga emhlabathini, can be your soil pH or amanzi. Makushisa ilanga it's an abiotic factor. Makushisa ilanga thothi izitshalo zakho ziyasha zonke, and then there is a pattern, kune pattern ekhona ezitshalweni zakho. And then uma ubuka ama weather temperatures, as I've said, ukuthi njengoba lini izulu izitshalo ayikhuli kahle, ama nutrients wakho ayalicha, and thola ukuthi izitshalo zakho ziba stagnant, yabo ingxenye enkulu yensimu yakho, then there you have a problem ye abiotic factor. Now quickly going to ke manje I plant nutrition, of which it's our last component here. So bazalwane, i-plant nutrition ke ibalekile ukuthi we understand. So i-chemical property of the soil, ama plants would be able to tell you ukuthi ime kanjani. Soil pH yakho, ama nutrients wakho, yonke into uzotshenwa isitshalo ukuthi la ngikhula khona mina ngime kanjani. That's why I said plants have got lips. Plants, they communicate. Plants will tell you what we are happy. Plants will also tell you what we're feeling cold here. And plants will tell you what it's hot here, it's dry here. And you need to be able to communicate with your plants and respond to what your plants need. So a chemical element is very necessary for plant growth and metabolism. There are a number of processes enzeka ey'tshalweni zakho. Ama-plants awagcini nje kuphela to absorb nitrogen, but there needs to be assimilation and digestive. So now ama-plant njengoba nawo mawusuke ufaka ukudla emlonyeni, uyakufaka ukudla emlonyeni, fanele ukudla kugayeke. There needs to be effective digestion eyenzakalayo eswini sakho so that ukudla kuzoabsorbeka kusebenze egazini and stuff. Kanjalo nama-plants wakho, they need to be able to absorb and digest ama-nutrient elements. And kunokusebenzisana-ke la balimi between ama-micronutrients or NPK, calcium, magnesium that I've touched, and then nama-micronutrients. So plant nutrition ke bazalwane is very essential for human nutrition. So if uzwa abantu ngesilungu bethi silokho esikudlayo, we are what we eat. Because uma utshala ikabishi uma umlimi, kumele understand human nutrition ukuthi ikabishi linamaphi ama-nutrients. And ma udayisela abantu ngelinye ilanga uyokubuza umuntu lespinach ongidayisela sona, why do I need to eat spinach? Why do I need to eat beetroot? Why do I need to eat upelepele? And when as a farmer, you need that human nutrition component, yabo, to understand minerals and vitamins, because umzimba wethu awukwazi ukuzenzela ama minerals nama vitamins, but vitamin D can be able to make it through ilanga and stuff. So sifuna lezi zinto. That's why ma udla ukudla ufuna nje ama minerals nama vitamin. So as a farmer, you are a scientist, you are a human nutritionist. Uyabo kumele understand onke lama components. That's why namhlanje sithinta lokho ngoba uzodayisela abantu isitshalo esideficient noma isitshalo esilambile esingakwazi ukucertify ama dietary requirements abantu. Now sithinta ke nitrogen, NPK, and most of our bags that we buy are low NPK. Why do we need nitrogen? So balimi, nitrogen is responsible for a vigorous vegetative. So if ufuna ama-plants wakho akhule kakhulu abe green, you need nitrogen. And for early maturity, you also need nitrogen ikakhulukazi nokulimita ichlorosis where your plants are turning yellow. So when you are lacking nitrogen in crops wakho, they will demonstrate yellowing. Older leaves. Why on older leaves? Because nitrogen is a mobile nutrient element. So mawufike engadini yakho ufica amakabishi la ngezansi ayellow noma umbila wakho kuma older leaves uyellow, know that my dear, you've got a nitrogen deficiency. So how do you correct that? You need to apply lime ammonium nitrate, LAN. Lime ammonium nitrate, LAN, lime ammonium nitrate. Why do you have this lime in LAN? Lime is there to neutralize hydrogen ions that are being released by ammonium as it undergoes the process of nitrification. So yeah, LAN, gune urea, those are fertilizers that contains nitrogen. So nitrogen for vigorous vegetative growth and deep green color. So these are deficiencies again. Yeah, abanye baye bethi xoxa ngeyithombe. So mawufike efieldini yakho la ufike ubone ukuthi okay, ama plants wami anje, ama plants wami yellow kuma older leaves, you've got nitrogen deficiency. Yabo, na ugwayi laphana uyellow, uyabona, and there is a pattern. There is a pattern that you can see lapha kugwayi yellow. And then bese futhi ke sibuka ini phosphorus. Phosphorus. So for your plants to mature early, as I said, ukuthi ikabishi lakho, it takes about 3 to 4 months ukuthi harvest, but you can't be able to harvest your cabbage ku 3 months noma 2 months and abantu bazothi hey uyathakatha. No, because of umhlabathi wakho is well balanced ngama nutrients. So phosphorus okuP, NPK, phosphorus P is responsible for early maturation and for seed formation, root growth, cold hardiness and disease resistance. So you can see cold hardiness and disease resistance. Ama seedlings sengiya kwenye farmers ke saxoxa nayo evikini mawuwatshala mostly icolor zosheshe ayiveze upurple. So upurple color it mostly demonstrate phosphorus deficiency. When your plants are turning purple, there's a phosphorus deficiency. So if ama plants wakho efila amakhaza, and you'll find ukuthi azotena bani purple, That's why uma ubona ikabishi lisendaweni noma isitshalo sisendaweni enamanzi thola ukuthi mhlambe sesiba phephula because they are feeling cold and root development ayisenzeki uyabo. So root development, cold hardiness and disease resistance. So what will happen? Your plant will be more prone or susceptible to be attacked by any pathogens. So you need to balance phosphorus yakho emhlabathini and you need to apply it early before utshala ama seedlings. That's why NPK you apply it a week before or mhlawumbe a few days before utshala ama seedlings wakho. So that ama seedlings wakho azoba nayo root development, because if there is no optimal root development then your plants won't grow. Sorry. So that's why I said cold soils during early growing season may be a factor causing P deficiency. So as we're approaching winter, those who are planting in winter season, make sure that your soil is well supplied with phosphorus. And you can do this through a soil foliar application where you buy liquid-based phosphate fertilizers, phosphate, phosphate, fertilizers, MAP, monoammonium phosphate, DAP, diammonium phosphate, triple phosphate, maning, fertilizer that contains phosphorus that you can apply. One of nutrients around la Easy Grow. I'm not marketing Rolf's Agri, but Easy Grow starter has got very good phosphorus. So if plants wako semancane lapha seedlings wako, you just spray them with the Easy Grow, because Easy Grow contains a lot of phosphorus. It will improve the root development, helping your tiny seedlings to resist diseases and be able to adapt in that cold environment. Remember, you bought your seedlings from the nursery, and in nursery food to mele. Now you are transporting your seedlings to a cold environment, and then that's where you need your seedlings to strive and grow. So phosphorus is less mobile in the soil, and you may find with tama legumes they move phosphorus to deeper areas of the soil. So you can do even crop rotation to improve that. So here are the deficiencies of the phosphorus. So you see maize will turn purple color maize, and then we've got purple color with tamatisi, purple color ekabshini, purple color with tomato. Then you have phosphorus deficiency, phosphorus P. Purple. Then we're coming to potassium, balimi. Okay, potassium NPK, it's one of a major nutrient edingakalayo ikakhulukazi ezitshalweni zakho for photosynthesis, protein formation and sugar transport. That's why when you're planting your batata, or you're planting tuber crops, your carrots, you need that potassium, for its taste and even size. Yabo? Size where wamazambane wakho, size wo carrot wakho would also be influenced by the amount of potassium that is available in your soil. So even to improve flower, fruit set and seed quality, for crops wakho ukuthi ebe na more flowers, more fruits, good seed quality like upontshisi and stuff, you need that potassium. And if fertilizer ungayisebenzisa lapho KCl, potassium chloride, yes, potassium chloride, potassium nitrate, maning fertilizers that you can use ufaka potassium now. So beetroot wakho uzube mnandi, ube ne taste, because khona beetroot omkhulu omuhle but awunayo taste, uyabo. So you need that potassium and the sulfur, of which will cover that. So once you apply too much of potassium, too much of a bad thing, of a good thing is bad, balimi. So once you apply potassium omningi, it ties up boron, calcium, and magnesium. So that's why kumele uhlezi ubalansisa. So once these things are being tied up, ayisakwazi ukuba available kuma plants wakho, then you start to see a deficiency calcium, deficiency boron, deficiency manganese and stuff. So plant yakho it will demonstrate these things my short of potassium. This one is prevalent. Le amagqabha la, you can see. And if ikabishi lakho uzoba nje, no tamatisi wakho ube nje uvuthiwe kwenye indawo awuvuthiwe, yabo, camouflage, potassium deficiency, yabo. So these are the things that you need to be able to read and try to respond, because plant bazalwane will always demonstrate to you ukuthi liphatheke kanjani. That's why mina mangivakashela iplazi lakho ngifike ngiqale ngibuka ama plants. I don't look at you, I look at the plants ukuthi are happy in ama plants wakho. So if your plants are not happy, you may say you are happy but your plants are saying are not happy. So into ebalekile kumele kube ngama plants wakho ke are happy bazalwane. Now looking at the calcium. I-calcium njengoba sazi ukuthi wonke umuntu uyazi ukuthi amazinyo uzabe strong, amathambo uzabe strong, we need calcium. Nakanjalo ke naseyitshalweni zethu bazalwane. I-calcium is very important for strong cell wall. For itshalo zethu ukuthi zinga-attackwa kalula ngama-disease and pest, you need calcium. And for nitrogen metabolism, you remember we spoke about nitrogen. So for nitrogen ukuthi igayeke kahle esitshalweni, you need the calcium. So that's why once you apply more nitrogen, you are suppressing calcium. Once you apply more calcium, you are suppressing nitrogen. So kukunobudlelwane bazalwane. So calcium is responsible for a strong cell wall, making sure that your plants awakwazi uku-attackwa ngama-disease, ama-plants wakho ayakwazi ukumelana nezimo noma kunomoya, uyabo, but itshalo zakho ayisheshi ukuziloje, yabo. And then ke into ejwayele ukwenzeka la must apply lime. That's why we are trying to put back calcium ne magnesium, agricultural lime. From now on, you should know ukuthi when we are buying agricultural lime, you are actually buying calcium and magnesium. There are a number of foliar applications that you can apply esitshalweni sakho uma sesi-demonstrate i-calcium deficiency, because i-condition yakhona it's irreversible. Calcium nitrate, you can always have calcium nitrate, you can always have calcimex. There are a lot of foliar fertilizer that you should frequently be boosting your crops, waspraya ngayo ukuze ukuthi uma kwenzeka ukuthi kunama deficiencies akhona izokwazi ukumelana nawo. Like if you look at calcium, I said ukuthi it's immobile, meaning it will always demonstrate its deficiency on the younger leaves. Now let's look at ama deficiencies akhona. I'm sure these deficiencies are familiar to you. Niyabona? So you see ikabish, nali ikabish lakho mhlawumbe no 4 months, uyalibona ukuthi tennis. This is a tennis ball cabbage. You spend a lot of money here irrigating, hiring laborers, spending your time, because time is a resource. You can only be able to utilize time. You cannot extend isikhathi kakhulukazi la kwi-farming. Uma nje ku-3 months ushayile ikabishi lifuna lidliwe. Balimi. So uma ikabishi lakho kanje, you definitely have a calcium deficiency. So it's turning brown and you can't take this cabbage to a market. Then utamatisi wakho uzoba nje. This is what we call BER, blossom end rot. It's irreversible. It's a disorder, balimi. It's not a disease or pest, it's a disorder. Even ulethisi wakho uzoba nje. Yabo utamatisi wakho uthunjani konakele. Blossom end rot. Yabo ikabishi lakho alikho ikhanda, but tot mhlawumbe na 4 months alikho ikhanda. Lambile, shoda ngo-calcium. You are able to, that's why ngeke ngithi balimi, don't apply too much of nitrogen once your cabbage it's starting to form head. You should decrease the nitrogen application and balance it with the calcium, so that kuzoba ne optimal growth head formation la ekhanda. So i-blossom and rot, you can be able to spray ama crops wakho nge calcium nitrate, namanye ama fertilizers. So as I'm rushing towards the end now, we've got also magnesium. Magnesium, ama plants wakho will lack flavor. If magnesium is short. Remember, potassium is khulumile ngawo. That's why even I said here, K, deficiency yakhona, it can be mistaken with magnesium, because these two cations asebenzisana kakhulu, yabo. So iflavor, lento ye-flavor ibalulekile bazalwane. Musukudayisela abantu ikabishi elingekho engenayo taste, noma ubetruth ongenayo taste, or even umbila ongenayo taste, yabo. So you need to balance, but umnandi umbila walapha or ikabishi lapha, but when we uyazi ukuthi you are balancing ama nutrients emhlabathini wakho. So this is magnesium. So deficiency ka magnesium ngenansi bazalwane. You can see ukuthi ifana nekabani neka potassium. Na deficiency yakho. To rectify magnesium deficiency, ungathenga ama foliar fertilizers laphana, Epsom salt. Epsom salt le yasendlini. Yes. You can apply it emhlabathini wakho noma uyidissolve emanzini uyispray kuma crops wakho. And then isulfur ke bazalwane khona naye ngiyithandayo kakhulu. smell ne taste. Yabona for ukuthi ugarlic uzwakala ukuthi unukisa ko garlic ube strong lento esibiza nge-pungent smell. We need usulfur. Yabo. And even onion ukuthi unuke ube strong mawuqoba endlini usithi uyanuka anyanisi. We also need the sulfur. Even uchilies uzwe ngephungu ukuthi ayipelepele lo, we need the sulfur. So isulfur we apply through superphosphate ne gypsum ne coal burning, meaning even umzala your wood ash you can apply it kuma crops wakho, and you are trying ukuthi prevent lapho ama symptoms ngoba usulfur usebenza kakhulu njengo nitrogen. They are both responsible for chlorophyll synthesis and stuff. So ama deficiencies ika sulfur anjena bazalwane, uzobona ama deficiency anjena. And then bese siza kuma micronutrients, of which I won't dwell isikhathi eside la. Ama micronutrients ki iron, though noma ngithe iron idingeka kancane, but it's still essential for microbial activity. For lama bacteria esikhulume ngawo ukuthi ekwazi ukusebenza lapha, you need that iron. And then iron iyareduceka ke in low temperatures, low light conditions. And bazalwane, we need to respect iscience yabantu abadala. Uyabona abantu abadala bethi sesifisa noma kuphuma inhlamvu yelanga manje ukuze izitshalo zethu izokhula. Kune science behind it, you know, because photosynthesis has to happen. Ngoba uma seligibekele kakhulu akusakwazi ukuthi amanye ama processes eplant enzeke. So basuke beqinisile mabethi akube nenhlamvu yelanga njalo njalo. So naye ke i-deficiency ye iron. And then manganese is also responsible kuma root cell elongation for iplant yakho ukuthi ikhule, yabo, ikhule kuma roots. Ibalekile manganese nokuthi ama roots wakho ekwazi ukuresist ama pathogens. So for your roots to withstand ama pathogens alapha, you need manganese. So lento lena isho ukuthini balimi? One of it gist yale presentation isho ukuthi isitshalo sakho if sisuthi, if singalambanga, it will be able to strive ey'mweni noma la kuthiwa khona mhlambe izifo, but isitshalo sakho siyakwazi ukukhula and outcompete those diseases. So it means when you are saving ekuthengeni ama fungicide, yabo. So kumele kubalekile ngempela ukuthi izitshalo zakho ihlezi zisuthi and ukwazi ukubonela ama deficiency ngoba iwona azokutshela ukuthi isitshalo sakho si happy noma asikho happy. And then uzinki ke uzinki is very, very important ikakhulukazi kwi-information kwi-formation yama auxins for your plants to elongate. Yabo iplant yakho ikwazi ukukhula. That's why even na kwi-human body kumele uyazi ukuthi uzinki wenzani. Yeah, some of these minerals are very, very important emzimbeni womuntu because ezinye izinto emzimbeni ngeke zenzeke, yabo, if kuna le deficiency le. Mhlawumbe ungasola abathakathi and stuff, but kunezinye izinto la ezingenzeki kahle ngoba umzimba ulambile ngalama minerals. Anduba ke mhlawumbe uzufakela ama minerals, mhlawumbe ungachatha wenze yonke into usola izinto ezithile, but you need to deposit these minerals emzimbeni wakho. So for your plant to also withstand ama cold temperatures, you need to zinc. Bazalwane, kune foliar feed engibiza nge-zinc max. I-zinc max, once unama seedlings ithenge, we spray along with easy grow starter, izokwazi ukuthi isebenzisane lapho isize ini ama plants wakho. Then i-deficiency yokushoda kwezinc uzobona ama plants wakho eba brown noma eba cupped upwards, ama leaves akhona, and you know what you've got zinc deficiency. Boron, of which I think is the last one. Iboron ke bazalwane, iboron ibaluleke kakhulu ngoba ama plants wakho cannot be able to take up calcium uma kushoda uboron. So even if flower utamatisi wakho uyakhula but awuwenza ama flowers, yini inkinga? Uboron. Even utamatisi wakho uyakhula and then it sets ama flowers and fruits, but vele adropheke onke awe phansi kube nalento esibiza nge-flower and fruit abortion. Kushoda ini? Uboron. Or maybe ngenzeka ukuthi kune war between i-calcium ne-boron, because you need to balance these things. Yabo i-calcium ne-boron. Once you have i-calcium eningi, i-boron iyancipha. Once you have i-boron eningi, i-calcium iyancipha. So izinto kumele uyibalansise balimi. So how do you correct i-flower abortion noma i-flower dropping? You apply ama-crops wakho nge-foliar feed econtain i-boron. Kunabo borate maningi. Mina bengisebenzisa i-Calcimax noma i-Alexin from uNewlandis. I-right kakhulukazi ukuthi ibalansise i-calcium ne-boron. Even ikabishi lakho will need i-boron eningi for strong heads, you know, and ukuze ukwazi ukuba ne-taste, ukwazi ukukhula libe strong, because mawulithinta ikhanda lekabishi lakho kumele libe strong, yabo. So yonke lento ufane uyilandele njengomlimi, so you can apply i-sodium borate lapho ey'tshalweni zakho. So if utshala ku-broccoli, njalo ucauliflower, ucauliflower wakho mawunje unenkinga ye-boron deficiency. Uyabona ucauliflower unjani? Athi umuntu ngiyazama ukutshala ucauliflower awukhuli. Na inkinga, yabo? Boron deficiency. So how do you correct that? You apply a foliar feed and a boron. It's not a disease. But in tenzakalayo, once your plant is hungry, and you can see these plant cells have died, and in tenzakalayo, ama-pathogens, they easily attack a weaker plant. Yabo? So if plant yakho ilambile, ama-pathogens will always find a way to attack it easily. And you spend a lot of money buying fungicide and stuff. Molybdenum, this is the last one. Molybdenum. So molybdenum bazalwane ibaluleke kakhulu lento esibiza nge-nitrogen fixation. I spoke about it earlier. Ukuthi ama-legume must plant, they are able to take an atmospheric nitrogen and make it available to plants. Lento esibiza nge-nitrogen fixation, ama-rhizobium. You know, so in molybdenum you need it to be available with soil yakho, so that nitrogen fixers, these bacteria, azokwazi ukuthi afixe le nitrogen le, yabo. So lento echaza ukuthini, if utshala ama-legumes plant, make sure that you apply molybdate noma i-ammonium molybdate, so that uzosiza la rhizobium noma ama-rhizobium ukuthi akwazi ukufixa i-nitrogen emkhathini, yabo. And uma ishoda i-molybdate emhlabathini wakho, azukwazi nama-plant wakho ukwenza i-nitrogen assimilation, ukudigesta kahle i-nitrogen, yabo. So angithi uyayibona ke lento ukuthi bathi abantu abadala ama-plants awayidingi umanyolo, baqinisile kahle bathi awusidingi isikhuthazi, baqinisile. But once you've balanced yonke into yakho, but uzosidinga isikhuthaza if you haven't balanced izinto zakho kahle emhlabathini. And ukushoda kwe-molybdenum, it will also limit potassium absorption, meaning utshala ama-legumes plant awabi nama-flowers amaningi, awabi nama-seed pods amaningi. That's why you can buy a hybrid seed like iPana 148 or i-McDonald's seed kabhontshisi, mhlawumbe i-25 kg ngo-1.4. But thola ukuthi uyayitshala lapha emhlabathini ayiperform njengalendlela ebilindelekile. Reason why umhlabathi wakho unenkinga, yabo. So you need to support the characteristics we-seed ngani ngokuthi ube ne-well balanced soil. Good hybrid seed uyifaka kwi-good well balanced soil, then uyakwazi ukubona ukuzwa abantu bethi ayisithole 2 tons per hectare. Ngoba ungaba ngempela ngokutshala kwi-hectare, but you always get 0.5 tons per hectare. 0.5 ton per hectare, and uhlezi mhlambe ugxeka i-seed supplier, they say they are selling us old seeds, yabo. But inkinga yakho ikuphi? Isemhlabathini, yabo. You need to rectify your soil. So these are deficiencies ye-molybdenum bazalwane. You can see your butternut ingathi shile, yabo. And remember, we spoke about ama-patins. These are patins deficiencies. And because of a nutrient deficiency, it's a non-living thing. Uyayibona ukuthi kune pattern, nayi pattern. I-butternut lakho, uyayibona ukuthi i-broccoli yakho kune pattern, yabo. And mhlawumbe vele sishintshe sibe nje, ibe mhlophe. I'm sure abalimi bake beyibone ikhala ekanje kulethi swabo noma isitshalo sabo vele sibe mhlophe. Mhlawumbe sisodwa noma zimbili lapha, you have a problem ye molybdenum. Copper, yabo, sengigcina ke bazalwane. When you see iy'tshalo zakho ziba nama leaves agoqekile, more especially utamatisi, yabo, because copper is an enzyme activator, yabo, and catalyst ye respiration, yabo. So kubalulekile ukuthi ube ne copper eyanele emhlabathini wakho. And into ebalulekile is that once you apply high organic matter, nakhona kumele ukubhasope lokho. As I've said, with too much of a good thing, it's bad. So once you apply organic matter eningi, it will tie up copper. And remember, bazalwane, copper into engiyithanda ngayo is that it helps to fight diseases. Copper and boron, these are disease fighters. As we have economic freedom fighters, we also have disease fighters with farming. Any copper, that's why most of fungicides, and now I'm getting to fungicides, uzowafica enziwe ngo copper hydroxide, copper oxychloride. Why they put copper there? Because copper is a disease fighter. So when you apply a small amount of copper kuma plants wako, you are actually helping them to defend against diseases. And that's why kuma hydroponic farm, when you enter a tunnel, but spread the copper hydroxide lapha, impuphu ye-copper ukuthi ugxobe kuyo. Why kumele ugxobe kuyo? Because you have to kill those pathogens anganamathela kuphi kuma-boots wakho. So copper, it's a disease fighter. That's why abanye endlini bayibeka copper lapha nalapha to attract or to kill even ama-diseases asuke khona. So boron, copper, these are disease fighters. So uzobona kanjena ukuthi kube nani ne-deficiency ye-copper. Thola ukuthi utamatisi wakho uyagoqana kanje. Yabo? Uyagoqana utamatisi wakho. Ama-leaves, they curl like this. So you have copper deficiency. So that's it ke balimi okwanamhlanje based on soil fertility ne plant nutrition, is that kumele understand ukuthi isitshalo sakho sifuna yipi soil pH, isitshalo sakho sifuna yipi method ye soil preparation, and isitshalo sakho singekho happy sizohlezi sikutshengisa ngani through ama symptoms. Njengoba nje bengidlula kuona ama symptoms, isitshalo sakho sokutshena ukuthi si happy noma sikho happy. So next time sizokhuluma ngama disease, sikhulume ngama pest, njalo nama fungicide ongawasebenzisa, because le information kahle you need it uma uyifama. Yabo nje mawubonela ama symptoms kumele wazi ukuthi okay nginenkinga kanje and how do I rectify it. Yabo before ulahla ithemba izinto lezi ezilungisekayo. Sengigcina ke ngathi ke ama weeds, they are also indicators of soil fertility yethu. As I said, ukuthi mawunama weeds athile kuzomela ukuthi lezi zinto lezo uyilungise ukwazi ukuthi uyirectify. Then izinto ezifana nani nama pathogens kwi conclusion yami ngishilo ngathi they strive well when your soil pH is not balanced. So you have a problem ye pythium or ye dumping off, like when your seedlings they die suddenly, it's because of a pythium species attack ama seedlings wakho. Ingoba is strive under acidic soil. So that's why balimi, you have to correct your soil pH before you even start to buy ama chemicals, ama fungicide, because as I said uzothenga ama fungicide are expensive. That's a painkiller. You are not healing the wound, yabo. But if umhlabathi wakho uhila kahle, you are preempting all those risks ongaba nawo at a later stage. And when you look at ama weeds, mhlawumbe uthenga iglyphosate, you spray mhlawumbe ngeglyphosate, you imithi yokhula edurayo, abo scofel, yabo abo triflurine, abo oxyflofen, ngelinye ilanga esoyithinta leyo mithi leyo yokhula. But inkinga yakho is soil pH, yabo, ayimile kahle, ayikho balance. So firstly, balance your soil pH, and then you'll grow your crops kamnandi. Okay, let me look at my questions that I have here. Zamutiswa address. Okay, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll keep this presentation for later viewers. Okay, I see Utami. Okay, Nontobeko Mjatu Kamjatu. Okay, umquba, yes, you can add umquba in your soil, but remember, you need to make sure ukuthi umquba wakho is undergone composting, because kunama seeds lapha that kumele uwabulale before apply umquba wakho lapha emhlabathini. Okay, umavusana ukhuluma isitswana, isisuthu. Siyawusebenzisa kakhulu umquba wenkomo, but into enginotisayo ngawo weeds maningi kakhulu. Is there of dealing with, okay, or is there any way of dealing with umquba? Yes, it needs to undergo. Mina i-advise yami kumquba, guys, start now to keep umquba esibayeni niubeke ngaphandle. Mawuna ubeka lapha ngaphandle, that's where kumele niuphendule ikhathe eziningi, nifake nanotshani, nifake ne-green matter ukuze uzokwazi ukucomposteka kahle nalama seeds alapha azokwazi ukuthi efe. Okay, Thulani Sihlanzi, ngiyakubona mshana. Then where do we get calcium boron foliar application in case I want to spray my plant? Good question, Tsepi. So I know we are a very progressive farmer. So calcium ne boron, you can buy it in agricultural shops like kunabo Calcimex, kunabo Alexin. There are a lot of foliar feeds that you can buy in agricultural shops. So my challenge ikabish lakho, make sure ukuthi lento ethiwa foliar feed uyayenza. Why do you need the foliar feed? Iyayisheshisa imaturation yekabishi lakho. Mhlawumbe abanye nitshale ngesikhathi esifanayo, but bonela bekabishi alibakalidli wena usuyaqala uyalidla, yabo, because of ikabishi lakho noma isitshalo sakho uyasibooster. And in terms of mobile nutrients, awasho ngokuthi a deficiency of nitrogen, how do you okay, lokho bese ngikukhavile. Safunda today sne siyabonga. Okay, sodium borate, zinc max, gypsum. Okay, please help here. When do we apply? Okay, Tsepi, so that's a good question. Once ama plants, okay, into kumele understand the growth stage yama plants wakho, guys, that is very important. So if ikabishi lakho umutshala ikabishi uma sithi thatha 3 months, kumele wazi ukuthi a minimum of 13 weeks ikabishi lakho kumele uqale manje sewuzo harvest. So week 1, week 2, week 3, week. That's why when you are preparing your production plan based on a weekly basis, you need to understand kuleli viki leli ngenzani and isitshalo sami singaka ngifaka in. So kubalekile lokho. Abo sodium borate, once ikabishi lakho seqala mhlambe seliyagoqa noma senama leaves amakhulu, start to boost isitshalo sakho. Not only cabbage but amanye ama crops. Well prepared presentation, my brother. Siyabonga kakhulu Manqoba Mavimbela, siyabonga mfowethu Magadlela. Puti, I hope you could please make this presentation for later. Okay, I would save it. Name Sweli Nongalo, siyabonga my sister. Siyabonga kakhulu Mlimi. Please be kind and share the slides if possible. Okay, I can share my slides, but yeah, it's just that Velanga publish luto. I'll share my slides. I'll share my slides. Could you please share your presentation? Okay, I'll share it. I spray springpok in my yard. Manje into twane liya pupa. What can I use? Liya pupa eyadini. Konje springpok yini herbicide noma fungicide ukuthi lento yama brand name balimi ngicela ukusho lokho I brand name iyayingitrick ngoba I only stick kuma chemical active ingredient yabo. So ngoba like glyphosate I Roundup slash njalo njalo zi contain I active ingredient efanayo. So intuthwane ish ngoba I-blue death angiyikhuthazi kakhulu ukuthi ungasebenzisa for intuthwane. Well, enye into futhi mhlawumbe engayisho ngeintuthwane is that if ubona intuthwane ezitshalweni zakho, there must be ama aphids lapho. Ama aphids ke, that's another pest that sucks out I-juice of ama plant leaves, and then intuthwane would be there to lick or noma zizokhotha leyo sticky or honeydew esuke ikhona lapho kuma plants wakho. So yeah, kuningi ongakubheka. It's a holistic approach ekugwemeni intuthwane. I struggle a lot with aphids on my cabbage. Yeah, Cindy Swazuma. A lot of people have recommended the use of Afox, but angithole it all. What else can I use? Okay, if you struggle with aphids, I remember one of my students, white aphids. Aphids when ngamalala, they are more problematic wonke ama-crops njengoba nje usho kuyi-cabbage and ngelinye ilanga sobe sibuka lokho ukuthi why do they attack ama-brassicas kakhulu. So i-Fox, yes, it's good, but into ongayisebenzisa, you can use i-lambda cyhalothrin, you can use i-ivermectin, because remember, aphid doesn't bite a crop. It sucks juice out of a plant. So iyamunca aphid. So you need kind of a systemic insecticide ezokwazi ukuthi ilekelele lapha isitshalo sakho. So you can use lambda cyhalothrin. I'm touching with lambda cyhalothrin because it's an active ingredient. Ivermectin is an active ingredient, but even cypermethrin is an active ingredient. Deltamethrin is an active ingredient. So umuthi mhlawumbe on brand name, you can buy cyperin. Based on your budget, you can buy Karat or Karat Zion. You can buy Bulldogs. I'm not marketing about Bayer njalo nabo Sanjieta, but these are products in our cool that can also help you, Balim. Okay, Springbok herbicide. Springbok herbicide. Okay. Maybe I can also advise ukuthi mhlambe uyishintshe herbicide yakho isebenzayo. Yeah. And then active ingredient yakhona yini wemlimi Springbok, but I can check it later, because ilento active ingredient once you use it frequently, it builds a resistance, and then ama-plants wakho noma ama-weeds wakho awasezweli because sekune resistant. Okay, Tokozo Mpanza, I enjoyed these things. Tabe khulu. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Ngiyazi ukuthi ngithatha hour nesigamu. Kodwa I hope this conversation will help you a lot. So if you're experiencing any problem with plant nutrition and soil fertility, please engage with me. I've got a lot of farmers that I engage with la ku Facebook, and it's just that thina asikhonzile kakhulu ukutrenda yabo. And then they produce a lot of crops. And abanye babo we've never met and bangofakazi, but we always engage and help each other, and they produce good potatoes, tomatoes and other commodities through agri-digital consultation through abo social media kanjalo. So yeah, I'm planning to start planting manje, angazi ngizozilapha kanjani izintuthwane. Okay, so khuluma wemamsweli eceleni. Siyabonga kakhulu bafowethu. Please drop me your emails yeah, ku-inbox ngizonsendela ama-slides. Yeah, siyabonga kakhulu. Oh yeah, glyphosate is Springbok. Yeah, glyphosate try to use other herbicide specifically for amakabishi noma amanye ama-crops. Ungayijwayeli glyphosate because ama-weeds are besazwela for glyphosate. There are some of herbicide that you can use. Okay, guys, thank you so much, and thank for using your data. I hope it's for good advantage. Yes, and then keep well. Balimi bangoshuma. Nginifisela okuhle konke. God bless you. Thank you.